Welcome to the video. You've already maxed your Roth IRA for this year, which is an excellent milestone. In this video, we'll explore whether you should start saving for next year's contribution right away or prioritize other financial steps that may deliver a better risk-adjusted return. We'll show a clear financial flow, compare strategies, and build a next dollar plan so you can act confidently. First, congratulations on maxing out your Roth IRA. That's a powerful step in building tax-free retirement wealth. However, once you've hit the limit, the next strategic decision is where your next dollar should go. Should you save toward next year's Roth on January 1st? Or are there foundational steps that should take precedence? We will clarify the hierarchy, employer match, emergency fund, and high-interest debt before returning to Roth frontloading. We'll also provide examples and a practical checklist. Here's the agenda. We'll begin with why frontloading can be powerful. Next, we'll cover when to deliberately pause retirement saving to shore up essentials. Then, we'll detail 3 prerequisites: capture the employer match, fully fund an adequate emergency fund, and pay off high-interest consumer debt. After that, we'll walk through a financial flowchart and create your next dollar plan. We'll demonstrate compounding with a quick markdown example, include 2 short quizzes, and finally summarize with clear action items. Let's begin with the case for front-loading next year's Roth IRA contribution. Contributing as early as January 1st maximizes time in the market, which historically has been one of the most reliable ways to capture long-term returns. Rather than trying to time short-term moves, you benefit from as many compounding periods as possible. The earlier those dollars get invested, the more growth potential they have, especially within a tax-free Roth wrapper. From a behavioral standpoint, it can also be administratively simpler to make a lump sum contribution once and then focus on other areas the rest of the year. Of course, this strategy assumes your foundation is already strong, which we'll verify shortly. This flowchart visually encodes your decision path. First, when a new dollar arrives, ask if you are already capturing the entire employer match. If not, increase your workplace plan contributions to secure the full match, because that is effectively an immediate, guaranteed return. Next, verify your emergency fund covers 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. If not, allocate to that reserve until it's complete. Then, check for any high-interest consumer debt, such as credit cards with double-digit APRs. If present, prioritize paying that off before additional investing. Only after these checkpoints should you front-load next year's Roth IRA. Once that is done, consider either increasing your 401k beyond the match if beneficial, contributing to an HSA if eligible, or investing through a taxable brokerage. Finally, schedule quarterly reviews to rebalance and confirm alignment with your goals. Now let's compare front-loading with dollar-cost averaging. Front-loading provides maximum exposure time, which is advantageous when markets rise over long horizons. It can also be behaviorally efficient, since you complete the contribution early and move on. However, it requires the liquidity to fund a lump sum and the emotional resilience to tolerate volatility immediately after investing. Conversely, dollar-cost averaging spreads contributions over the year, smoothing entry points, and potentially reducing regret if markets decline soon after you invest. The trade-off is that your money spends less time fully invested, which may slightly reduce long-run expected returns. Your choice should reflect both your financial readiness and your behavioral preferences. Here is the controversial insight. If your employer match is not fully captured, your emergency fund is not sufficient, or you're still burdened by high-interest consumer debt, then pause savings toward next year's Roth. Start by contributing enough to your workplace plan to receive the full employer match, which is essentially an immediate return on your contributions. Next, build and maintain an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of essential living costs. This prevents you from being forced to liquidate investments during a downturn or from incurring new high-interest debt in a crisis. Finally, prioritize paying off high-interest consumer debt, such as credit cards, because the interest rate can easily eclipse expected investment returns. Once these 3 prerequisites are satisfied, resume front-loading your Roth IRA with confidence. This checklist translates the priorities into practical targets. First, ensure your contribution rate secures the full employer match, verifying via your pay stub or plan portal. Next, hold 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in a separate, accessible, high-yield savings account. Finally, eliminate consumer debts with double-digit interest rates. Confirm success when those balances are fully paid off and closed, or when rates no longer fall into the high-interest category. Now let's convert this into action. First, Adjust your workplace plan contributions to guarantee the full employer match. Then, divert extra cash to fully establish your emergency fund. After that, use the avalanche method to tackle the highest interest debt first, while making minimums on the rest. Once those 3 boxes are checked, plan to front-load your Roth IRA on January 1st. Following the Roth contribution, consider increasing pre-tax or Roth 401k contributions beyond the match if tax-advantaged, contributing to an HSA if eligible, and then investing in a taxable brokerage. To remain consistent, set up automated transfers and put quarterly review dates on your calendar. This timeline lays out what to do and when. Starting now, verify the full employer match, build or top off your emergency fund, and pay down high-interest debt. By December, confirm you have the cash set aside to front-load your Roth and make any necessary payroll adjustments. On January 1st, execute the full Roth contribution. Between January and March, confirm the contribution posted correctly, rebalance, and lock in automation. Each quarter, review the emergency fund, check debt status, and assess your 401k contribution rate. At year-end, review your tax-advantaged contributions, and plan for the subsequent year. Question 1. Which priorities should be funded before front-loading next year's Roth IRA? Option A, employer match. Option B, taxable brokerage account. Option C, cryptocurrency allocation. Option D, new car fund. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is employer match. Securing the full employer match provides an immediate, risk-free return through the employer's contribution, and it should always come before front-loading the Roth IRA. Question 2. How large should your emergency fund be before resuming aggressive retirement saving? Option A, 1 month of expenses. Option B, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Option C, 12 months of income. Option D, emergency funds are unnecessary. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is 3 to 6 months of expenses. This range balances resilience with opportunity cost, making it less likely you'll need to liquidate investments or take on high-interest debt during an unexpected event. Let's briefly illustrate compounding. Suppose the annual limit is $6,500, and you can either invest it as a lump sum on January 1st or spread it evenly across the year. Assuming a 7% annual return for simplicity, the lump sum has the full year to compound, while each monthly contribution in a dollar-cost averaging approach has fewer months to grow. The math is illustrative and not precise to daily compounding, but it shows the principle. Earlier dollars often have more growth potential because they remain invested longer. This is one reason that, after meeting your key prerequisites, front-loading can be advantageous. This pie chart is an illustrative example of how you might allocate new dollars after the 3 prerequisites are met. In this illustration, 40% goes toward next year's Roth bucket so you can front-load on January 1st. 30% increases 401k contributions beyond the match. 20% flows into a taxable brokerage for flexibility, and 10% tops off a small cash buffer. Your exact mix should reflect your goals, tax situation, and risk tolerance. Here are the key takeaways. Front-load your Roth IRA on January 1st if and only if you have captured the full employer match, hold a robust emergency fund, and have eliminated high-interest consumer debt. Automation and quarterly reviews help keep your plan on track. To summarize, follow the sequence. Secure the employer match, build your emergency fund, eliminate high-interest debt, then front-load your Roth IRA. After that, consider adding to your 401k beyond the match, contributing to an HSA if eligible, and investing in a taxable brokerage. Use a timeline and checklist to stay organized, automate where possible, and review quarterly to adapt to changes. Before we close, please note this content is educational and not individualized advice. Investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Consult a qualified fiduciary advisor or tax professional to tailor these strategies to your specific circumstances, tax status, and jurisdiction. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who is deciding what to do after maxing a Roth, and subscribe for more clear, evidence-based money content. What is your next dollar plan? Share your thoughts and questions in the comments so we can help you refine your approach.